Okay. So let's do another sound check. Can you hear me? So I'm the session leader. I just got an okay. Okay. Can hear me. That's good. So I will start sharing. I did it yesterday. I don't know who else in our in the value chain section we're targeting, or the whole is actually targeting sustainable, and we specifically look at resilience in nutrition systems. And this goes actually back to different systems at severe threats, but they may that we are not aware of at the moment. So, okay, receiving. Hear me? Okay. So, and session we are handling opportunities and markets. I'm very happy to introduce which Nicole, correct? Is Nicole already online? Otherwise, we will and receive a feedback, but I will stop my share. I will ask you your stuff. Same problem with it's not there. The connect. Okay, let me put in.
My name is Tandu Ramba. On behalf of 8 contributors, I would like to welcome you to our poster presentation on the impact of COVID-19 on local food system in Southern Africa and Indonesia. It is a digital research with small-scale farmer that has been done during the pandemic of COVID-19. The participatory research aims at analyzing the food security in 2 urban and 3 rural food regions, which is Masvingo in Zimbabwe, Maputo of Mozambique, Cape Town in South Africa, Toraja and Java in Indonesia. Our common perspective is small-scale farmers provide insight how COVID-19 measures affect their farming and food system and how resilient their food system are. Farmers perceive themselves as coping agents and they not passive victims of the COVID-19 crisis. They want to be part of the solution. All data were collected in digital form by using the Kobo Toolbox app. The survey was done with 56 simple questions that consists of single choice, binary, multiple choice, open-ended, and demographic questions. 700 farmers have participated in the survey. The findings are, in Masvingo, Zimbabwe, farmers lost their market outlets as farmer market and restaurant closed, so farmers sold most of their produce to local communities. Hunger was a major problem, and this was aggravated by the meager harvest due to climate change, particularly a drought. Women farmers are strongly players in coping with the COVID-19 lockdown through food and seed exchange. In Maputo, Mozambique, import bans for food from South Africa cause price hikes, particularly for sugar and fruits. Farmers consume therefore more of their own product, such as vegetables and staples. In Cape Town, South Africa, price for all food groups strongly spiked, and as the income opportunities from the informal sector was heavily restricted, township farmers often go to bed without a meal. The crisis caused hunger. They coped by opening up community kitchens, and they were more dependent on food aid. A major problem was that they had no access to their own farm. The vegetables were rotting on their fields. Meanwhile, in Toraja in Java, Indonesia, farmer market partly closed, and people feared to go outside. Less meat and fish were consumed due to price hikes for all food groups in Java, and for meat and sugar in rural Toraja. The consumption of vegetables increased. Farmers even start growing more food for their own needs and change to a more healthy diet, such as they ate less sugar. In spite of the food trade disruption, farmers were food secure. The conclusions are, while food availability was not the major issue, some food groups were not anymore affordable, which led to food insecurity in Zimbabwe and Cape Town, but nor in Indonesia and Maputo. Coping strategies were different in the research sites. However, in all areas, farmers relied mostly on their social capital and local knowledge, such as got help from their own family and their own farming community. They developed solutions such as community kitchens or seed swap systems. Local food systems and agroecological farming systems in Indonesia and Mozambique are more resilient towards shocks, while small-scale farmers who are not supported by the government in South Africa and Zimbabwe face severe challenges. The participating farmers acknowledge the digital exchange with farmers from other areas. The South-South exchange between Indonesia and Southern Africa on farming creates a mutual learning experiences. Thank you for your attention. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much for presenting so quickly. So I take questions from the audience at first. I have a couple questions too, but I have, maybe there are questions from the audience or from our team even. Is there any question? You can use the raise hand button with it via Zoom, and I will keep track.
¿Cómo uno comparte pantalla en Zoom? Pero está en presentación en este momento en vivo, weón.
Okay. Manuel, I think you're
No, estamos en una distinta, pero no sé cuál.
the voice. You have to. Thank you. Okay. Are there any other questions or any questions? Not here. Yeah. Well, there's one. Taria. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It's really a time to measure the impact of COVID-19 on agriculture, particularly in rural area, because the COVID-19 started maybe 5 months or like 4 months. So can we measure this one, the impact, within a short period of time?
Good afternoon. My name is Katharina Löhr, and I'm currently working at the Leibniz Center of Agricultural Landscape Research in Germany.
Where did our presenter go? Ramea is it seems to be Eric, are you in line? Can you jump in and tell us where the presenter is? He's in online, right? Is he able to take that question? Okay, the technician is only in chat. Okay, so Tadeo, maybe you keep your question. I have 2 questions as well, but I will then postpone them to the end of the session, hoping that we can still solve them. I'm sorry about that. And I'm reading then Katharina Löhr had to run, but Camilo Lozano will present her poster. So maybe we can now run the poster session of Katharina Löhr, which will just be uploaded, I think. Yep, and this works. Yeah, and even though she's not here,
to you
I
a
will.
collaborative research project, Katharina Löhr, and I'm currently working at the Leibniz Center of Agricultural Landscape Research in Germany. Today, I'd like to introduce to you a collaborative research project on the impacts of COVID-19 on agricultural practices and food systems. It's a collaboration led by ZALF together with IAMO, GIGA, PRIF, Embrapa in Brazil, Agricultural Science and Natural Resource University of Agistan in Iran, and Sokoine University of Agriculture in Tanzania. The project is supported by the Leibniz Research Alliance Crisis in a Globalized World and commenced past July, and it will be completed by the end of this year. Why this project? Because previous epidemics like Ebola virus in African countries have shown the severe effects of lockdowns on food and agriculture, and in particular highlighted the vulnerability of small-scale farmers. Considering the importance of small-scale farmers for agriculture production and domestic food security, as well as the global scale of the current pandemic, we consider it's crucial to investigate the impacts of COVID-19 on small-scale farmers. In this project, we investigate in an exploratory approach the effects that COVID-19 has on farming activities and food consumption of small-scale farmers. We want to know what coping mechanisms or measures are taken by farmers to adapt to the new situation. How do government policies impact farming activities and food systems during COVID-19? And what services and support could facilitate adaptation to COVID-19? For this study, we selected different regions in Brazil, Iran, and Tanzania, and we've chosen these countries as their economies are strongly influenced by the agriculture sector. The agriculture sectors are highly represented by smallholders, and national food security is strongly affected by their smallholders' production. Also, government responses differ from average responses of most remaining countries in the world, as for example in Tanzania, COVID-19 has been basically declared as defeated, and also in Brazil on a national level, COVID-19 is neglected. We have commenced desk-based research on effects of COVID-19 on food security and nutrition, as well as related to other socioeconomic impacts. We started to analyze government policies that were implemented since the outbreak of COVID-19 to assess their potential impacts on farming and food security. We have just commenced qualitative data collection in the 3 countries and will also be running a quantitative survey. Here you see a first glimpse of results which show how governmental structures, if they're centralized or decentralized states, highly influence also COVID-19 policies and measures. And for example, in Brazil, most measures are implemented on a provincial level, which supports our regional approach. We aim to look at different impacts and to develop a framework that helps to analyze such impacts of COVID on small-scale farmers with the potential to be then also applied in other areas and countries. And we also want to map creative local responses and factors that influence the adaptive capacities of farmers to pandemics. And with this, I hope that I've caught your attention in our research project and that you will be interested in our results towards the end of this year. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me or also other colleagues in the project. And with this, I close and I wish you a good day.
Okay, thank you for the technician to upload this presentation. Now there should be one of the colleagues in the chat in case there are any questions. Are there any questions with regard to this tracking the WUFA webpage? But I don't see any questions here. Are there any questions from this audience, from the Zoom audience, directed to this poster, which actually depicted a study design and an overview of what is going to be implemented with regard to tackling COVID-19?
If I could, I'm sorry, I don't know
Yeah.
how to use the raise hand function. Is there? Could you maybe explain how we use the raise hand function? Otherwise, I'll just interject.
Yeah, you just go. There is like in the options, if you go up to the Zoom button, and I think in the options there should be a raise hand button, or on the other hand, it could be in the actions. Yeah, but go ahead, Matthew.
Okay, yeah.
Please.
So I was just wondering when you're looking at cross-country comparisons of the effects of COVID, obviously it's difficult. It's more difficult in developing countries than it is in developed countries. But I was just wondering, you don't really hear as much about it. So I was just wondering, in general, what are some of the more heavily impacted developing countries in terms of the coronavirus, and which regions are sort of getting the worst of the coronavirus? I mean, it seems like you did some cross-country comparisons. So I was just wondering in general, because you don't seem to hear as much about that as you do about more developed countries.
Yes, well,
I think that's a very good. Yeah.
Sorry, so I'm here instead of Katarina. Katarina had to leave. Okay, but we are co-authoring the poster and the research. So basically, there are multiple effects that now we are seeing in relation to COVID, and food and nutrition security, which is the focus of the research, mostly at the production side. One of the reasons of this comparative is to get a deeper look in what are the effects in the income of the farmers. And initially what we are seeing is that their incomes have been substantially reduced due to that they cannot go to normal markets in developing countries, such as, for example, these wet markets, open markets have been closed for several months. So the incomes are really being affected. That is at the farmer side. Likewise, at the consumption side, for example, there is a huge variation of prices. This fluctuation it affects also households because, for example, the last week in Brazil, we have the pound of rice increased like 500%, and rice and beans are key elements of the food basket. In that sense, we expect that the COVID effects on food and nutrition security are distributed across time. They are not located within a frame of time, but it will be in short, medium, and long term visible. And that is why we want to make this exploratory study for the coming year to remain analyzing what effects have been occurred and having the option to explore what coping mechanisms farmers themselves or governments can put in place to mitigate the effects of COVID over food systems. Okay.
You said any other follow-up questions with regard to this? Otherwise, I would welcome Simon, because we have to keep on. We have quite a number of very nice different presentations, and if we have time, I have prepared 2 or 3 discussion questions for the end. So I would welcome Simon Gicheha, and he's presenting his poster. And so you're welcome to share your screen to do so, Simon. I think you just entered this Zoom conversation, as if I'm informed correctly. And your talk will be on implication of market intermediation and efficiency of camel mill markets in Kenya. So maybe, yep, so that seems to work. I think your microphone is still turned off. At least we cannot hear you. You are
Hello,
welcome to start.
My screen?
Yep, we can hear you now. Yep, and your screen
Okay.
is presented too. Welcome.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Simon Gicheha, and together with my co-author, I welcome you to our poster on the implication of market intermediation on efficiency of camel milk trade in Kenya. So this output is part of my PhD research that aims to develop welfare optimizing sharing of cost reduction benefits towards efficiency and improvement in camel milk value chains in Kenya. So in Isiolo County, northeastern Kenya, trading practices and market performance were evaluated over a sample of 331 traders and milk producers. Results shows high dependence on market intermediaries by a majority of milk producers. And further, 2 trader types were identified by nature of operation: the cooperative or the corrective action, and non-cooperative or individual traders. And these traders are women because in this community, the milk belongs to women, but the animals belongs to men, kind of. The mean distance to the market and the daily handled volumes and consumer surplus was higher in cooperative trade structure than in individual operation. Also, milk losses as a share of the handled volumes was also lowest in the cooperative trade model. However, individual or the non-cooperative trade has more than half the share of the milk market. To understand the existence of these 2 trader models in the same market, we test for the evidence of constant returns to scale. And results shows here reduction in transport, handling, and aggregate cost with increasing transaction size. Because ideally, when we have constant returns to scale, then that's when this kind of 2 trader models can exist. Otherwise, if there is increasing returns to scale, then the large or the cooperative trade should crowd out individual small enterprises in the market. So in conclusion, though efficiency improves with cooperative marketing, individual or non-cooperative trade is still dominant. There is evidence of increasing returns to scale in aggregate marketing costs, and therefore the existence of these 2 trader models in this market is a source of inefficiency. And what we think here is that the policies and the institutional and technical innovations that support market entry and vertical coordination are therefore useful and necessary. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Simon. Is there an urgent question to Simon targeted? I'm checking the WUFA webpage, but in the meantime, you can just take or ask a question directly targeted to Simon. Is that the case? I have a brief question. How did you get to camel milk? I mean, it's kind of interesting. What?
Once more, the question, please.
How did you get to camel milk, like in that project? What it's a very innovative, and I think from a pastoralist perspective, very interesting approach. Was that the reason for it? Looking at pastoral communities?
Yes, because ideally the due to climate change, those communities used to do some bit of some crop farming, but then the situation now has gotten really worse, and there is high dependence on animal product to support both livestock and also food. And therefore it becomes important how we can increase the incomes or improve the efficiency so that there could be more money flowing into this value chain, and also the distribution, because it looks like from the results that the consumers are willing to pay higher with increasing standards. Yeah. So if this can happen, then and we devise some triggers to ensure that there is distribution of this consumer surplus, more money going to at least everybody getting something, then I think it can lead to some improvement. Also, the population is also increasing. Yeah. So we have to see these things from a different perspective. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I think Joseph Bahati, you sent a video, right? Is that correct? Because then I would start this, or would ask the technician to start the video of the poster presentation of.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think, Simon, you need to stop your screen sharing. Otherwise, it will not allow the technician to upload the video. So it should say at the very top of your screen, if you go there, there's should be a Zoom meeting where you can stop.
Yes, I got
presentation.
It. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I think the presentation will soon start. Yep. And I'm very happy that you are here to take questions in the end, but we will start now.
Yes, I'm available. I'm here. I'm Joseph Bahati from Uganda. I'm presenting a poster titled Knowledge Management Mapping in a Banana Grow Processing in Uganda, a case study of the Presidential Initiative on Banana Industrial Development. The main goal of this research was to identify and link the different actors, identify the knowledge gaps of the different players along the banana production and processing chain. The method that was used was a mixed method which employed qualitative and quantitative method backed by McKinsey and Smith of 2001. And it mainly focused in terms of its results on the demographic of the farmers that participate in banana growing in Western Uganda. We looked at also the demographic of the different stakeholders along the production value chain. And we focused at the training after mapping the knowledge that they had, the knowledge that they lacked, so that they can be able to increase productivity at farm level and along the agro-processing chain. We looked at the cultivars that they need. We identified the challenges that they face in terms of diseases, in terms of climate change, in terms of inputs, in terms of price fluctuations. And as a global community, which is addressing food and nutrition security and its resilience to global crisis, the role of mapping knowledge in banana production in Uganda is going to be critical in increasing productivity and improving efficiency at the agro-processing level in Uganda. Thank you. So that is the brief presentation that I had. Yeah.
Any questions to Joseph? Any questions from BUFA webpage maybe, or from our
Some questions, please.
I'm just checking the BUFA webpage, but there's no question there.
Okay.
Any question from this round? Otherwise, thank you very much, Joseph, for presenting so clearly.
Thank you.
And we will just continue to the next, which will be, and I think, Andrea, you also sent a video, is that correct?
Yes, that's
then
correct.
We will start the video from Andrea, and I'm very happy to introduce her personally as well, and she will be there for a question. So I think the technician will then start screen sharing and do the same again with the video from Andrea.
Dear listeners and colleagues, I am Andrea Fonga, and together with my co-authors, I welcome you to our poster, Where Do Inhabitants of the Parish Kenyanya in Kampala Shop? Africa is urbanizing fast. Poverty and malnutrition hotspots are moving from rural to urban areas and communities. And with it, dietary aspirations of African urban populations are changing. Therefore, urban food systems have to evolve quickly and sustainable to address the current demands. But this requires a deep understanding of the current functionality of the food systems. Within the project Neurocity, we want to identify the currently used retail outlets for food purchases of inhabitants of a low and middle income area in Kampala, Uganda. Therefore, we selected one parish, Kenyanya, to discuss with parish representatives different food sources and choices. Altogether, 3 different focus group discussions were held at 3 points within the parish. The discussion was facilitated in 3 subgroups in order to have women, men, and youth discuss separately. In total, 85 inhabitants took part in the discussion and identified together as main food outlet food stalls, which are used by almost everyone in the community, mostly to buy fresh vegetables. Over 80% use the traditional and local markets, which are on average 20 minutes walking distance away, to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. To purchase cereals, milk and milk products, so-called mom and pop shops or small kiosks are used the most. Hawkers or food vendors, which deliver seasonal fruits and vegetables to the community, are used by 53% of the inhabitants. Supermarkets are, on the other hand, only mentioned by 20%, to buy fresh products such as meat, fish, eggs, milk and milk products. When asked how often are different food groups consumed, animal-sourced foods are consumed mostly on a monthly basis, while vegetables, cereals and legumes are most of the time consumed on a daily basis. With the current results, we conclude that the traditional retail outlets are still the preferred food outlets. The reason as to why they are preferred need to be explored further. So for us, the next steps, when possible, are to conduct a baseline study to look into the relationships of the preferred choices. This research is embedded in the project Neurocity, which stands for Partnerships for Healthy Diets and Nutrition in Urban African Food Systems, and is implemented by Wageningen Economic Research, the Alliance of Biodiversity International and CIAT, and BOP Innovation Centers. Thank you for listening, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me at any point in time.
Thank you very much, Andrea, for uploading or recording this video. Any questions to Andrea? Have you already checked the nutritional value, or did you do some analysis with regard to dietary guidelines? I mean, it's quite, let's say, good that people consume legumes so often from a nutritional perspective, right? Or what are you proceeding with that?
Yes, we did not check dietary guidelines so far, as this is kind of preliminary results from the focus group discussion. And we were actually wanting to pursue with the quantitative data to back everything up and then to go deeper into it. But as we were then faced with a big lockdown, we stopped it. So we hope to kind of back it up very soon. And also to look deeper into consumption patterns and kind of to verify the results from our key informants.
Okay. Any other urgent questions? Otherwise, we will just continue to the, I think, Manuel Diaz, you also uploaded a video. Am I informed correctly? Or are you doing, Manuel? Did you send a video?
Hi. Maybe. Yes, I sent a video.
Okay, so let's do the video then, because
Want
I
to play
think
the
it's
video,
more
or
stable.
should I do?
It,
Okay.
I think if video is working, then we would prefer this. Yep.
Okay. Thanks. Hi everyone,
And
and thank you
happy
for
that you're
watching this
there and
presentation.
take-
My name is Manuel Francisco Diaz, and I work with the Alliance of Biodiversity CIAT in Colombia. Agricultural credit systems have shown great potential to improve the living conditions of producers in developing countries. Studies from Asia, Africa, and Europe provide evidence that access to credit is key to transforming subsistence smallholders into market-oriented producers. In Colombia, only 38% of farmers have access to development credit, leaving millions to attend. Among them, livestock producers are crucial, not only for their importance in the rural society, but for the country's sustainability commitments. This study analyzed the institutional changes that shaped the credit systems and examined limiting factors and opportunities for cattle production. Data was obtained from the institutions in charge of credit provisions, farm management, and statistics. We have two general findings which create dynamics that influence the sector. First, the institutional infrastructures of the Colombian credit systems is limited, creating distortions in the provision of loans. Second, the Colombian credit systems works imperfectly, and credit rationing is associated with asymmetric information, adverse selection, moral hazard, interference of political dynamics, among others. Finagro is the operator of the guidelines of the Agricultural Credit Commission. Finagro creates an offer of 3 development lines that reaches the producers through banks. One of these development lines is called substitute credit and allows private banks to shift credits destined for primary producers towards other value chain actors with a lower risk of default. This situation is creating serious problems in terms of inequality and inequity. While, for example, slaughterhouses and product commercialization are acquiring higher bargaining power, the primary producer is losing it. In Figure 1, we can see the development of the substitute credit for the cattle sector over the other development lines. Now, regarding credits for the primary producer, the overall credit amount has been increasing over time, but large-scale producers are obtaining most of the funds, as we see in Figure 2. These two situations tell us that agricultural credit is losing its development spirit. In Figure 3, we see that companies mainly located near to urban centers are concentrating the majority of available funds. Departments such as Cauca or Nariño, characterized by a large presence of small-scale farmers and high productive potentials according to their livestock inventory, obtain low amounts of credits. This reflects that the actual configuration of offices and attention centers facilitates access for private and large-scale companies along the value chain, and that it is more difficult for primary producers in remote areas to access credit. We also found that sustainable intensification of cattle production through credit is still limited. Credit is mainly used for buying animals and machinery and not for investment in sustainable technologies, for example silvopastoral systems or pasture renovation. Credit needs to be accompanied by other strategies such as extension services, which are still in baby shoes in Colombia. As conclusions, we can say that state involvement has sought risk aversion mitigations of private banks, but this creates other difficulties, As we saw in 2009, financing decisions began to interact with political and electoral activities, reducing the positive social impact of the state interventions. Inefficiencies such as informal loans and expensive interest rates can be confronted by supporting cooperation between the state and the microfinance institutions, given their capacity for reaching low-income farmers rapidly and reducing information asymmetries. This has worked well for coffee producers in Colombia, as well for other sectors in developing countries. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Manuel, for providing this recording. Any questions to Manuel? I don't see questions here. Quickly check the WUFA page. Okay. I don't see a question here. I have a couple, but I think they are more branching. They are more targeted to institutional, let's say, support with regard to microfinance situation that you actually were studying, Manuel. So maybe we just put that question at the end to discuss a little broader, if you were okay with that. Yeah?
Yeah, no more. Excellent.
Because we still have a couple of presentations to go. And I think the next would be Matthew. And I think if I'm informed right, you also uploaded or you also sent a video. Is that correct, Matthew?
Yes, I was having a couple of troubles, but I uploaded the video this afternoon. So
okay, so
it should be good. Yeah, I uploaded an MP4.
Yeah, we will see.
Okay, should be good. Thanks.
So yeah, and it would be great if you could be there for questions, of course. I will. Yeah. So we would like to have the video of Matthew now. It's all a little bit organizational issues, doing a virtual conference, but the technician should be in charge for this. And if not, we have Matthew. He just takes small minutes, but we have him around. I think this is not the one you sent, Matthew, probably, right?
No, that was not mine. But yeah, I sent it. I sent it pretty recently because I had sent PowerPoint video, and then they replied that I needed a WMV file, so I sent that at about 6 o'clock. But it should be uploaded. So I apologize.
I think I can quickly, because it's one of the papers that it's a little bit, let's say, taking a different approach, because as far as I'm informed, does it work now?
Yeah, it's definitely
you
slightly
actually
different.
compare. Yeah, you can start maybe introducing.
Yeah, I could
like,
also, if you want, I have. I mean, I apologize. I guess I only created the poster. I maybe misunderstood the guidelines, so I didn't do as long of a presentation. But I do have the poster that I can share on my screen and just present it, if that would be better.
Yeah, perfect. That would be better.
Yeah, sure.
The next one will be Victoria.
Okay.
But yeah, Matthew,
and I prepared
if you can,
something so it'll keep it within what's the time limit? 3 to 5 minutes? Is that right?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Okay, so I prepared. Yeah. Okay, so I'll let me just share my screen and upload this very quickly.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So looks like I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. The view is a little blocked here. Okay. So I wrote a seminar paper at the University of Göttingen on development economics on the long run effects of the transatlantic cotton trade on poverty in the American Deep South. So obviously a little bit of a different approach. This is more of a sort of historic institutions effect on modern socioeconomic outcomes through agricultural markets. So I prepared a little bit of a script here, so I'll just read it for you. So the growing worldwide demand of cotton in the 1800s and the necessity of large-scale slave labor in its production were the main drivers of widespread plantation slavery in the Deep South in the United States. The global trade of goods requiring large quantities of extractive labor in their production can shape the institutional quality and the demographic structure of the region in which the labor is extracted and have long-lasting impacts on economic growth and human development, which we can observe today. Focusing on the period in which plantation slavery expanded in the United States between the early 1800s and the abolition of slavery in 1865, I analyzed historic data on price and demand for cotton in the United States and Europe, decennial census data on the U.S. slave population and crop production throughout the 19th century, and modern socioeconomic census data on poverty in former cotton-producing regions in the Deep South of the U.S. to investigate a link between the world trade of cotton in the 1800s, the expansion of American slavery, and modern-day poverty among African Americans in the southern United States. So to illustrate a potential symbiotic relationship between European cotton consumption, U.S. cotton production, and slavery, I graphed yearly observations of total European consumption and total U.S. production of cotton using a small novel database that I manually compiled from a historical document, James L. Watkins' Production and Price of Cotton Over 100 Years, as well as total U.S. slave numbers from the 1860 census. So we can see a striking similarity there between the growth of U.S. slave numbers, the consumption of EU cotton, and the production of U.S. cotton. As well as, they both coincide with a similar magnitude growth. In the 7 decades following the patenting of the cotton gin, which is what basically propelled the expansion of commercial cotton production of the textile cotton industry in Europe, and the onset of the industrial cotton manufacturing business. That was in 1794. In those following decades, we see all variables increase before culminating to a peak in 1860, which is followed by a sharp decline in the mid-1860s during and after the U.S. Civil War, which was a big shock to American cotton production when southern ports were blockaded from exporting cotton. And then finally, to provide visual intuition for how cotton production, slavery, demographic composition, and modern day poverty are spatially concentrated in the Mississippi Delta, where most of the cotton was produced, I compiled 3 separate heat maps, of counties in the southern United States, basically using US Census data entered in Geographic Information Systems software. So I show that total cotton production in 1860, number of slaves as a percentage of the total population, and per capita income in 2010 were all spatially concentrated in similar areas. So observing the 3 most prolific cotton producing states, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama at the bottom left of the map, which together produced over 55% of the nation's cotton in 1860, we see a clear concentration of all of those variables of cotton production, number of slaves, and modern day poverty along the Mississippi River, which geographically borders Mississippi and Louisiana. This is expected because the majority of major agricultural exports were shipped downriver to the port of New Orleans before embarking to international markets. And of course, cotton was the dominant cash crop in the region and heavily reliant on slave labor. So in conclusion, today, 3 of the 5 states in the so-called cotton belt of the Deep South United States, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, which together produced over 55% of the nation's cotton and housed 30% of the enslaved population in 1860, all rank within the bottom 10 states in terms of poverty rates, high school graduation rates, incarceration, life expectancy, and the U.S. Human Development Index. And the largest producer of cotton, Mississippi, which produced 150% more cotton than the next most prolific state, ranks last in the nation in poverty, life expectancy, and the Human Development Index, and within the bottom 3 states in high school graduation rates. So the point is to show how the passing down of negative institutions can have long-run effects through eliminating voting rights, through reducing people's rights to education, and through systematic oppression of past enslaved populations. And we can see those effects today. So thank you. And if there's any questions. Sorry, that was a mouthful.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It was very quick run through.
Yeah. How long did that take? I think it was 5 minutes whenever
I don't know. I didn't.
did it before.
Yeah.
So, but this was all in the video before. But
I just need to make sure that you're. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
here.
you.
I'm here. Yeah.
So, but quite quite let's say, well, I don't want to use the word depressing, but a little bit it is depressing, right? I mean, what is your main conclusion? How can we actually solve problems? How can we
Hello,
actually
my
provide
name is
education
Victoria.
better?
I'm a law
Because what's
student.
okay,
Yeah.
so thank
So
you.
this is sorry.
This was just
Yeah. It is obviously it's painting a sort of a negative picture of the region. I was interested in contributing to some of the literature on historic development and comparative development due to institutions. You don't really see much of that emphasis placed on the U.S. South, which is, if you know, it's similar to comparing Latin America with parts of North America when you look at comparative development of different regions and how institutions have a really important effect on socioeconomic outcomes. In the U.S. South, huge population is basically descendants of slaves, and there was a huge, there was really terrible laws marginalizing African Americans and ex-slaves over the years, and that continued until the late 1900s. And so it's just showing that nowadays, I think I'm trying to illustrate that there are effects now that you can see, due to these past negative institutions. And I'm not, it's not really the goal of the paper to propose a solution for that, but it's just to show that there are effects that you can observe through the years.
So maybe next Tropentag, you can come up with
Yeah,
some solutions.
Yeah, when I
based
get
on the-
another 5 minutes, we'll get into that.
Okay, now thank you, Matthew, for
Okay.
presenting.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And now we have, and Victoria, you sent a video, and the technician actually also found it already, and we will just play that if that's okay. Matthew, I would ask you to stop your screen sharing, otherwise
Okay.
the technician
Thank you.
cannot upload.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Whoops, I'm sorry. How do I stop it? There it is.
Stop.
Stop sharing.
There's a
Okay.
read. Let's. Yeah.
Thanks.
There you are. Okay. So I welcome Victoria, who's there, and the technician already pulled up the presentation, and you will be there for questions.
Hello, my name is Victoria. I'm a law student at State University of Goiás, located in the municipality of Morrinhos. First of all, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to contribute to this very important and established event. My contribution is made through the theme Bureaucracy, Access to Official Subsidized Credit, and the Parallel Credit System for Agriculture in Morrinhos, Goiás, Brazil. The official rural credit is a cost granted by the government to finance national production. At the moment, the government offers producers a loan with subsidized interest below market value and imposes some requirements, mainly in the sustainability which producers must comply with in order to have access to the amount. The work was developed through an inquiry in the Morrinhos region, where a data and survey was carried out along with the Rural Workers Union on the amount of producers in the municipality that enjoy official credit with subsidized interest. Simulation of the credit application was made to discover the greatest difficulties encountered at the time of the application, as well as when assessing the acquired credit. 10% of the producers were selected for an interview about the main discomfort they find in obtaining the financing. A questionnaire was prepared contained questions about what means was by producers in the region and what are the advantages and disadvantages obtaining credit through other private companies. And finally, we contact the Regional Rural Union to discuss the best ways to promote more sustainable agriculture and to integrate the largest number producers to the official credit system. Through this project, it was possible to identify that even after 50 years to the institutionalization of the official credit program, few farms in the city area were of this assistance. Those who no give up trying because of the delay and bureaucracy to risk the required criteria, and because of this they opted for other means of obtaining the subsidy, which in most cases are options that offer much higher interest than official credit and encourage sustainable environment practices. In the sense, exerting in the region on the subject help to transmit really relevant information to rural producers in Marines, making those who had no knowledge about credit become aware of it and their increase the adherence, the social environments practices linked to the program were also increased. Aiming to promote more sustainable agriculture and generate less damage to the environment. Bye!
Thank you for this video. Any questions to Victoria? Any questions dealing to or looking at the bureaucracy, access, credit? I think it may be similar, or we can discuss, maybe we are already close to closing actually, and we still have a couple presentations, but maybe it could be, or you can take the thought to think about discussing institutions maybe in another session tomorrow or to another place, because I think at this point in time, if there are no urgent questions, I would just speed up, try to pass on the word to Chama now. Cricket production survey in Thailand, is that correct? And I think for Chama, we don't have a video, is that correct?
Yes, I already sent a video.
Oh, you sent a video? Okay, so maybe if there's a video for Chama, maybe we can upload that.
Thank you.
Yep, it works. Yep, thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Nidudua. I will present the poster titled on market potential of honest in Eastern State Myanmar.
No, it is wrong. No, it's wrong.
Wrong poster.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe we can start with, we can still, we can listen to this now and then do Chama afterwards. Would that be okay?
Okay. Two first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we just switch around. Sorry.
I conducted this study as a part of personal projects. Eastern State is a border cave to Thailand, Laos, China. A big variety of edible insects can be found in this region, such as bamboo worm, silkworm, cicada, hornets, and crickets. Among them, hornet is very rare at the market or the other part of Myanmar because the hornet harvesting is very dangerous and can even cause death. But it is available in Eastern State. So, the aim of this study is to estimate how to use and its market potential and conduct observations and face-to-face interview at the study area with the local people. The findings are described here. Hornet are the more expensive edible insect and it can be available from August to November, and it can be found in various forms such as fresh alive here and fried form here, and the measured form with the alcohol here. Hornet is used not only as human consumption but also for the medicinal purpose in that area. The measure form of hornets and alcohol is used to protect and cure stomach and inflammatory disease. 6 types of hornet marketing can be distinguished depending on collected amount of hornets, market distance, location on the hunter village and collecting area, economic conditions of the villager, freshness of the hornets, and font of the product. As I described, the hornets are rare and expensive. Even the local people can buy one time per season for eating purpose. Match a phone with the alcohol can be used for many times after buying one time by adding more alcohol. So medicinal bubble bubbles use is only less than 5%. According to the wholesaler, 75% of the harness from Jiangsu market. Here, Jiangsu is the central town of the eastern Qian state. Is transported to the border areas of China, Laos, and Thailand, where 50% of the consumers are foreign. So, the honey is a prospective product for earning foreign income, but it is difficult to export honey, love it, alike legally. Commercial processing technology should be developed to produce value-added products and export to the foreign country. Although the honey is used as a traditional medicine, there is only few scientific research is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions targeted to Minion? Or I'm sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing your name.
It's okay.
Direct question. I'm sorry. Any questions? Quickly checking the WooFa page.
Mine.
No, this is not the case. Or one question? Otherwise, we would now take Chama's poster and her video. Yep. So this is the correct one now?
I'm a PhD student at the
No,
Department of
not correct.
Agroforestry.
No. Sorry. But well, Chama, is it okay if you again switch one round?
Okay.
Would that be okay? Yeah?
Okay.
This one is mine.
Okay. Are you okay to present, or would it be
No.
okay if we now take you?
No, it is okay. It is okay, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Universe of Life Science Park.
Yep.
The title of my presentation is Value Chain Analysis of Pineapple Production and Marketing from Traditional Agroforestry System, Southern Ethiopia. Pineapple is a tropical fruit cultivated in tropical and subtropical countries. It is the third most important tropical fruit in the world, banana and citrus. In Ethiopia, mainly produced by smallholder farmers in the south and the southern part of the country. In the state area, the smallholder farmers integrate the pineapple production with agroforestry systems and intercrop with different crops like maize. The objective of the study was analyzing the value chain of pineapple production and marketing. When we come to the result, two varieties of pineapple produced in the state area. The first one is smooth kinds, and the second one is sugar lab. So the farmers in the steady area prefer to cultivate the first one, smooth kind, in comparison with the second one because of high prices and market demand. Pineapple is the highest average annual income for farmers, followed by cattle idlest, coffee arabica, and livestock. So the annual income from pineapple is high in comparison with other activities because it's around 80,000 Ethiopian birr. $1 is equal to 36.38 birr. The market prices vary with season and based on the quantity of pineapple produced and applied to the market. High prices, particularly from June to August. During this period of time, there is a low production. When there is high production from September to December, the price is less. Both primary and secondary actors are involved in pineapple production and marketing. The primary actors are like the producers, the retailers, the processors, and the brokers. And the secondary actors are the Ministry of Agriculture, Development Agent, and government. So the profit margins for producer is high in comparison with other actors. The market supply of pineapple was affected by wealth status and duration of the storage. So duration of the storage particularly affects the market supply because the farmers have no capacity to store for long period of time, so that it affects the supply of pineapple to the markets. when we come to the conclusion, pineapple is the main income source for smallholder farmers. The perishable nature of the pineapple is a major problem for farmers, and also they reduce their income. Enhancing the local actor capacity through training, particularly the producers, and providing market information enhances the pineapple productions and also increases income of the farmers. When the income of the farmers is increased, it improves the livelihood of the community very much.
Okay. Thank you for this presentation. Also, urgent questions targeted to Tadeo. I'm still, in the meantime, trying to solve out a video that is missing now of Chama, but maybe you have questions to Tadeo, targeted to Tadeo. If this is not the case, I would now give the word to Chama. And Chama, would you be able to present the poster again? Because apparently it's missing. The technician did not find it.
Okay, I have a video clip in my computer. Can I share the screen? It's
Yeah,
okay.
you can try that.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, we cannot hear your tone, I think. I cannot hear your tone at least. Chama, would you be able to explain?
Oh. Sorry, you cannot hear this clip video?
How is it for the audience, for other people? I cannot hear it.
Ah, you cannot hear and everyone cannot hear? Okay.
Yeah, me
I
too.
can't hear either.
Yeah.
You can't hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I try to hello everybody. My name is Shama Pankao. My name is Chama Pankao from Kasesa University. Insect and food or edible insect are insect species used for human consumption, whole or as an ingredient in process for product. Insects are nutrient efficient compared to other meat sources. Thailand has the largest cricket rearing sector in Southeast Asia. The objective of this study was investigation of current state of cricket production. This research was carried out during 2016 to 2019 by using questionnaire to get information from 150 farmers and reviewing of publication. This picture for show to the collecting in the field during 2017 to 2019 by using the questionnaire. My result of this research, I found 3 cricket species rearing in Thailand. The first one is how cricket, the first one 50% into spotted cricket. Second one 15% house cricket, and the last one 5% of ground cricket. The main species in Thailand rearing in the two-spotted cricket and sell in the local market, and the house cricket is the export market. And the location of the cricket farm are about 20 farms, mainly in the northeast province, the north, the east, and the south, and the central. This picture show to the product from the cricket you product. The first one is the whole body, and the next is the cricket powder and the cricket pasta. The farm value of cricket yield is about 37.36 million euro in 2019. The key factor of cricket production are
Chama, just a
feed.
quick just a quick interruption. Could you check your screen sharing again?
Sorry?
Apparently, could you share your screen again? Your poster? Could you just share your screen so that everyone can see what you're talking about? That would be.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I see you, but I don't see the Zoom screen. Sorry.
We're still, no worries. We are all getting to use the virtual conferences now. So just share your screen again. Maybe stop it and share it again. So that everyone can see your poster. It's a green button, green.
Sorry. Okay, I have some
field
problem
with
in
an
my
arrow.
skin.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, technician, could you share the poster screen? I mean, I downloaded most posters. Otherwise, I will just do it.
Okay. Try again.
Does it work for you?
Okay.
Yeah. I've got it open now too. If you want me to.
And now you can see my PowerPoint.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There you are.
Talk
Perfect.
again. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Maybe you can just continue.
Yes, I can continue. Everyone can hear me and can see my PowerPoint.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay.
And this poster is also
it's
already
again.
uploaded on the
Okay.
webpage. I saw that.
Okay. I will talk. Start again. Okay. Insect as food or edible insect are insect species used for human consumption, whole or as an ingredient in processed food products. Insects are nutrient efficient compared to other meat sources. Thailand has the largest cricket rearing sector in Southeast Asia. The objective of this study was the investigation of the current state of the cricket sector in Thailand. This research was carried out during 2017 to 2019 by using questionnaire to get information from 150 farmers and reviewing of publication. These results show 3 cricket species rearing in Thailand. The first one is two-spotted cricket, around 80%. The second one, 15% is a house cricket, and the last one, 5% is ground cricket. So the two-spotted cricket is the main cricket rearing in Thailand, and this one is the main can sell in the local market, but the house cricket is the export market. This one shows the cricket farmer are about 20 farmers, mainly in Northeast province. The next is the central, the north, the east, and the south of Thailand. And this one shows the cricket yield and product from the cricket rearing in Thailand. The first one is the whole body of cricket. The next one is the cricket powder, and the last one is the cricket pasta. The farm value of cricket yield is about 47.46 million euro in 2019. The price of cricket powder export is about 40 to 50 euro per kilograms. The key factor of cricket production are feed, water, temperature, relative humidity, density of cricket production, and sanitary farm and good health of farmer. This highlight of this research, the first one is the most commercial cricket is two-spotted cricket. The cricket farm are about 20 farms, mainly in the Northeast province. The farm value of cricket yield is about 47.46 million euro in 2019. And the last one is the largest challenges according to Cricket Farmers Survey are cricket feed, the cricket variety, and product development. Thank you, Proximo team. Thank you, Thai Government Fund, and thank you, Cricket Farmer in Thailand, and thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chama, for presenting finally. Any urgent questions? We are already over the time because we already lost some time at the beginning due to technical
Okay, so sorry.
problems.
It's not perfect.
No worries.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any urgent questions? And I realized that Dirk Stöber, for example, who was in the same project of, who was it? Nicole, I think, who presented first, but couldn't take any questions. So in case the questions, I think Manuel, is he still here? Did you have questions? I don't remember anyone. Or Tareo, did you have a question targeted to the first project?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we do.
Hello. Yeah, we were sorry we had no Zoom link for this session, and actually Tando was presenting. He's our colleague from Indonesia, and Nicole is sitting here, who was meant to be presenting here. Yeah. And Tareo, at the beginning, I think it was Tareo about how to measure.
I think so too. Yeah.
How to measure the impact within such a short time on the COVID-19 containment measures, the impact on farming, right, Tareo? I think that was your question. Yeah, you have to unmute.
I think you have to unmute.
Just the impact is in the long run. Can't we see the impact within a short period of time? Because the COVID-19 is maybe in 4 or 5 months. Can we measure with a short period of time?
Well, I mean, you're right. I think if you're thinking in project logic, you have results, output, outcome, impacts. It's always looking at the wider, the longer term when using the word impact. But we use it maybe more in the short-term effects or the short-term impact of this. The direct impact on not on the COVID-19, on the disease as such, but on the impact of the containment measures, the restrictions, which were very, very different in the 4 food regions. You know that South Africa and Zimbabwe had a very strict lockdown, while Indonesia and also Mozambique, they tried to balance, I mean, the restrictions with the economic downsides, you know, and that's why it was quite interesting. And I think we could have, what we have tried to capture, the ideas of the farmers and how they perceive if they have problems in farming. For example, in some countries, farming was meant an essential business and they were allowed to do everything. Like in New Zealand, for example, farms goes on, but in others, they really had problems, like some in the South African, in Cape Town, urban farmers to get the permits to visit their farms. That was a big problem, that they could not harvest their perishable crops, no? So there wasn't. That's why we call it maybe the short-term effects of these containment measures. That's how we define the word impact, which maybe is a little bit too big for this. Yeah. But we are working on this still. We have a group of students, and not students, of postgraduates, and a team leader, Nicole, who is going back to Cape Town together with research farmers over there, and doing consumer studies, and to see how's the situation now after these 6 months of lockdown in the townships, particular in 5 townships, 4 townships of Cape Town, and in St. Helena Bay, which is a fishing community. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing this up, Silke, again. And with this, and we are 20 minutes over the time now, so I would thank all the people who were attending again today. I very much welcome you to poster session tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., which will also be markets and value chains. And in case, like I promise the technician to not go into the deep discussion about institutions, about microfinance, maybe at this point in time, but I really, if we have time tomorrow, I would like you to discuss with us, or also use the connection with each other, because there were some overlapping topics. So use the conference, despite the fact that it's virtual, as much as you can to actually interlink the projects. I think they're all interesting projects. And I very much thank you for coming. Thank you for all the great presentations and the great work that you do. Yeah, and with that, I leave you for tonight, and have a good night.
Good night too.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.